Good evening, you're watching Estuary News. Coming up, we head to the classroom to find out how primary school pupils make the transition to secondary. And we go to Grimsby Minster, where the Reverend Catherine Price delivers the weekly reflections. And my guest tonight is Luke Harlow, a Grimsby author, here to talk about his writing career. Welcome to Estuary News. I'm Emma Lingard. Now it's over to Erica Barker for the news headlines.
In the headlines, a man has died in a head-on accident near Beeford, police have confirmed today. Two cars collided just after a bend about 2 miles north of the village on Saturday, sadly resulting in a 41-year-old from Hessel being pronounced dead at the scene. The other driver sustained abdominal injuries. Northern Lincolnshire and Goole NHS Foundation Trust hope by extending visiting hours, people seeing loved ones will have greater flexibility. It's part of a 3-month trial involving 6 wards, with wards 11 and 18 in Scunthorpe and Grimsby's B6 and Amethyst wards to be open from 11 a.m. to 8 in the evening. Marking 30 years since the poet Philip Larkin's death and 5 years since the original much-loved set of toads took to the streets of Hull, the colourful set of amphibians are to be found in the city once again. The fish and chip toad is now in Queen's Gardens, with many of the original 40 Larkin toads going on display this weekend.
They made people understand that Philip Larkin was a great poet. He lived and worked in Hull for so many years. But above all, they're just great fun. I think a lot of people thought the toads would be a bit ugly, but people don't like them. But actually, once you see a painted toad, beautifully decorated by artists, it's a bit like kissing the toad and it turns into a princess, isn't it? And that's what the toads are like. They're just beautiful objects. And people interact with them. You can climb on them sometimes, and you get a photograph taken with them. So they're great interactive sculptures.
And finally, this weekend sees some of Hull's brightest musical talents head out to the coast in aid of the RNLI. A variety of artists will be playing to music lovers in Kilnsea, and it's all for charity.
This year we've got Emma Fee with her sister in the Happy Endings, and Jodie McKenna, a friend of theirs, who's a fantastic singer-songwriter. Different group of music, different genre, different group of people may come along. But if we can, 100 people in here, people enjoy a night in the country, in a barn, and whatever's left goes to a charity.
And if you have a story, you can contact us on 01472 315561. Until next time.
Thank you, Erica. Now, my next guest has been writing stories since he was a young lad, and after years of writing fiction and non-fiction, Luke Harlow has now turned his hand to children's books, and he's with me in the studio. Welcome, Luke, to Estuary.
Hi.
Before we talk about the books that you've brought in then, your background is actually in computing, isn't it? So what made you want to go into writing?
Well, like previously said, I've written short stories since I was a young child, and it's been a passion of mine ever since I was young. It's something that I've always wanted to do. Okay. So I've got 2 passions in life. One's teaching, one's writing. I've taught previously as well, and now it's time to go to writing and give that a go.
And what I suppose inspires you to write?
Anything really. You get ideas from any walk of life, so you can get ideas from somebody just sleeping. And although the story of somebody going to bed and waking up is quite boring, it's what you can fit around that that makes it interesting. So what happens at night when they are sleeping? Is there a monster that pops out from under the bed or the wardrobe, or what else is going on around the house or the area, things like that. So I think you have to have a good imagination, especially writing for kids. But
I was going to say, this is it, for writing for children, you can be, I suppose, as creative as you want to be, can't you? Are you finding that with what you're doing?
I am, yes. A new set of books that I'm writing at the moment, they're all based on imagination, and book one's called Imagination,
right.
Which is imagination, and it's about a little girl with a really vivid imagination, and it's about the adventures she goes on, and yeah, you can have a lot of fun and make up a lot of stuff. She's been on travels to the planet Foe and Zine, which are all made up, and candy floss hills and things like that, so yeah, it can be a lot of fun.
Now, obviously based on your computing background, you did also write a book about computer skills as well. And how long did it take you to write that one?
A year altogether. At the same time I was teaching, so I based everything that I was teaching on the book. And when I was doing the class, instead of me saying this is what we're doing this week, it was what would you like to do? So the book is written for people, things that they actually want to learn rather than what's been dictated to them. So it's done quite well.
Now, I mean, you said that you've done teaching, you obviously did a computer degree. Did you ever envisage that you were going to go down this different path and end up writing?
No, I thought I'd go to university, get a job, and that's it. I'm a graduate and earning lots of money, but it didn't work out that way. But writing is my true passion, so it's something I really do enjoy doing, and I'm lucky to have the opportunity to give it a go, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it leads. And
you've been into schools with the book. I mean, so far, how has that gone down with the children? Are you finding, because they've obviously aimed at youngsters, that they enjoyed the stories?
They do, yes. I've had letters from students, the pupils from the schools, and letters that stories that they've made up themselves, which have been put into a book for them as well. And you get a lot of things like my favourite part of the story was when the little boy was scrubbing the toilet and things like that. So it does make them laugh, and at the same time I'm asking them questions. So they're really involved with it. A story that I'd take 15 minutes to read, we spend half an hour on with all the questions, and they ask me questions. So
brilliant. Well, we're going to talk more about the Mr. Bubble series. So stay where you are.
Thank you.
Now, the move from primary to secondary education is a big step up for many children. In Scunthorpe, a special kind of summer school helps children adjust to what secondary school will be like in September. Dave Nunn went back to the classroom to find out more.
The transition from primary school to secondary school is a challenging time for many children. Stepping into a new environment can be quite intimidating, but now a scheme in Scunthorpe aims to help pupils transition to this new setting.
I didn't have anything like this when I was at secondary school, but the concept and the idea was obviously to support those children's needs, because it's quite a big time for the children who are going to obviously secondary school from primary. We felt that they needed more care and attention. The idea behind it was the DFE wanted to just fund sort of a 2-week summer school, but what we've managed to do is, using the funds that we've been given, we've been able to put a whole programme together. So my staff, who are health mentors, they've been able to go into primary schools from end of summer 2, which is sort of the end of early June, and they've been working with the children in their primaries. They then follow them and join as part of the summer school, and then when the summer school finishes in the 2 weeks, they then follow them into the secondary school in September, making sort of a through transition process for the children.
Often the biggest fear children have about going to secondary school is making new friends, and one of the aims of the Accelerate sessions is to start friendships between the children, which will hopefully continue long into secondary school.
Well, definitely. An example was today. I know a child who's not been yet and wants. Well, the parents want them to come, but they're kind of nervous and scared about coming because they think they're going to be alone. Or we've tried to make sure that there's children here that are going to be supported, and we know that if they come for one day, they'll realise how much fun and excitement and enjoyment they'll get out of it, and that they'll probably forget about the fact that they're here for transition for moving to secondary school, that they're actually just here having a great time and meeting new people.
The experience has been enjoyable for the children who have been attending the sessions.
We made a tribe, like every group, and there's like different types, like the bunny fuffles in it, and sacred dragons and fish.
And survivors.
Yeah, and survivors.
The enjoyable nature of the programme underpins the serious work it undertakes in preparing children. The organisers of the Scunthorpe programme say that more local authorities should consider running similar schemes.
It's our 4th year actually for the funding, and we do find that more schools are getting to know the concept and the idea of the funding. We've doubled our size of schools that we're working with this year, and I definitely think that the more publicity it gets in terms of the actual benefits and the impact it has on the children, more people will take it up.
Still with me in the studio is children's author Luke Harlow. Now, Luke, we were talking before about how you got into writing, and you've written this series called The Adventures of Mr. Bubble. Yeah. Just tell us then, what is this Mr. Bubble all about?
He's a genie, in a sense. He grants wishes to children, but there's a twist to the wishes that he grants. All the wishes have got to be kind and good. If they're not, then the wishes will go wrong. So in this book, it's called Mr. Bubble and the Thoughtless Children. So the 2 children in it are very thoughtless, and they ask the first 2 wishes they ask for are not of kind and good like they're meant to be. So the wishes go wrong. Then they eventually learn their lesson, and on the last wish, they just want everything to be back how it was. They'll never be thoughtless again, and it goes from there. And they'll become kind and look after the mother and
oh, don't we all wish things like that? Where did you get the inspiration for this then? Where did Mr. Bubble come from?
Came from my mother when I was younger, and actually originally it came from her brother, because her brother used to tell the Mr. Bubble stories to her when she was a child, and then she told us them as me and my siblings when we got.
What does she think that you've now put it into a book? Pleased?
Yeah, she originally said, well, that's not the stories I used to tell. And I said, well, I can't put them into a book. It don't work that way. I can't write and show people that go on magic carpets and they're jumping in money. There needs to be some sort of story to it, some moral, so that they learn something. So, but yeah, now it's out and it's published. Yeah, she really enjoys them and shows everybody them. So
I was going to say, so because your mum inspired you obviously to write that, but your sister does the illustrations, doesn't she?
She does, yeah.
How do you 2 work together then on these?
I write the story. Once I've finished writing the story, I give it to her, and then she'll come up with picture ideas, and then I'll say whether I like it or whether she should do something different to them. But 9 times out of 10, every picture she does matches what I thought of anyway. So
I was going to say, does Mr. Bubble look like how you envisaged he was?
He does. Actually, I think he looks a bit better than I envisaged. So
she's done a good job there.
She has done a good job.
Now, how many books have you got in the Mr. Bubble series?
Currently 4. There's the story book, a teacher's guidebook from when I'm going into schools, a colouring book and a Spot the Difference book. That all makes up the set. Coming up as well, in about 2 months' time, there'll be Mr. Bubble and the Greedy Triplets, and there'll be 3 books to that. There'll be the story book, another Spot the Difference, and a colouring book as well. So.
And like you said, the children that you've already shown this to are enjoying this series then, aren't they?
They are, yeah. You get a really good response from people at schools. I've been to 4 schools altogether. And the main part that they like is when the boy's scrubbing the toilet. The wish went wrong, and the mother, instead of letting them do what they want, became really nasty and got them to clean the house.
Oh, as mothers do. Now, just what age group are these based for?
4 to 8 year olds.
Okay. And you've got a new set of books for older children, haven't you? The 9+. Tell us about that.
The series is called The 5 Fictions of 5-Way School, and it's about 5 school kids who've been given a project by their English teacher to write a book each, and then once it's written, the teacher's going to publish it for them.
Okay.
And it's all about their lives, really. So there's Imagination, which is imagination, and it's about a girl with a really good imagination, and she writes about stories that she's been on, so these different planets and faux sign, and they've got cloud scraping, cloud climbing tournaments, and all sorts going on in them. The other books, which I haven't written yet but I've got ideas for, is Fleur Gets, which is a girl that forgets. Animals, which is about a boy who really likes animals. Dinosaurus, which is a boy who likes paleontology. He likes digging up for dinosaurs, but doesn't find dinosaurs, he finds other bits and bobs. And Ian Vent, which
Right.
he's an inventor.
And when does that series come out then?
The first book should be available within 6 months.
Okay,
So it's halfway done. The first book's halfway done, and there's the editing process to go through and everything.
Brilliant. Well, unfortunately, that's all we've got time for, but thank you so much for coming in.
You're
and obviously, if people want these books, they can go to your website or buy them online.
It's lmhbooks.co.uk.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much,
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Joining me to look back over the weekend news is Erica Barker. Erica, hello. Not seen you for ages, it seems, isn't it? Oh, come on, tell me what's been going on.
Well, I'm going to start off with the devastating news about Cilla Black.
That was awful. I couldn't believe that yesterday. That is so sad, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And in the Grimsby Telegraph, Sheridan Smith has paid tribute to Cilla from Northern Lincolnshire, saying that she was a remarkable woman, true legend. She was so kind and helpful to me. It was a privilege to play her. Obviously, she did play the part of Cilla in that programme.
She did.
So.
And that was a fabulous drama.
Did
you
I
see
never
it?
saw it, but
she was
says,
amazing.
It is.
She was.
But no, I missed it.
Sheridan was unbelievable. And obviously she sang Cilla's songs, didn't she?
Yeah.
Amazing voice. And it's very, very sad news that Cilla has died.
No, it is.
What else has happened?
At the weekend, God, big weekend in Hull. So we had the Humber Street Sesh on Saturday. Over 30,000 people attended. They actually sell over 12,000 wristbands prior to the event.
Wow.
So a lot of people were getting wristbands on the door.
Yeah.
So it was a really big turnout. So you had like live, street theatre, breakdancing, graffiti, and obviously like loads of, talented local musicians.
Did you get to go along?
I didn't.
You didn't get to see.
No,
I've
I didn't.
still never been. Every year I say I will go, and I still haven't made it.
I tell you what, though, the weather was bad. I drove through town and everyone was just like soaking wet. But I don't think it dampened spirits. I think they still had a good time.
It's a good thing. And the other thing that was happening, of course, in Hull.
Yeah, the boxing.
The
rumble on the Humber. I know.
Did you see that?
No, because I don't have Sky.
Didn't you get a ticket and go along?
You know what, my mum and dad went. My mum and dad went along, and do you know what? I dropped them off. So I feel like I got the atmosphere when I dropped them off and I picked them up. But apart from that, I didn't.
Did your mum and dad enjoy?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, my mum and dad did enjoy it. So obviously, everyone, probably knows by now that Luke Campbell did win Tommy Coyle. So he does go on to fight again, really. A massive event for the city there at the KC Lightstream Stadium.
It was brilliant, wasn't it?
Massive turnout.
I understand only marred by a bit of trouble afterwards.
Right.
Because I know the police have had a big presence in Hull over the weekend, haven't they, with searching, and they had the sniffer dogs out there in case of any trouble as a presence. But fantastic things going on.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
you missed all of that. I know I missed it, but you were there.
I was like a taxi service, Emma. I was like a taxi. I was like Cinderella.
Never mind. What else? We've got one quick last one.
Okay, so the first of the monster trucks delivering wind turbines have passed through Toll Bar roundabout.
Oh yes, because they had to remove half the roundabout to let them through.
Yep. So it's all
and
going
that's
on.
all this week. They're moving those blades, aren't they, down to a wind farm.
Yeah.
Watch out for monster trucks. Well, that's all we've got time for, I'm afraid, Erica. Thank you very much for that. Very much. Right, now it's time for reflections, and this week it's the Reverend Catherine Price, curate at Grimsby Minster.
You don't have to go far in Grimsby or on any high street to find a shop selling debt. A pawnbroker or moneylender offering cash for cheques or a payday loan. The Church has been active in supporting alternatives such as the North East Lincolnshire Credit Union or the Church's Mutual, launched by the Archbishop of Canterbury earlier this year. The UK has one of the highest levels of household debt in the world, and half of UK adults say they're worried about their debts. In German, the same word that means debt also means guilt, but in the UK, debt is no longer seen as something to be avoided. credit cards, mortgages, student loans. Increasingly, debt is an essential part of adult life. The Bible has a lot to say about money, and particularly about debt. And the biblical writers don't blame borrowers, but lenders. Because debt is not just about money, it's about power. In the ancient world, people even used to sell themselves and their families into slavery if they couldn't pay off their debts. And in this country, prison used to be not for criminals, but for debtors. Charles Dickens's parents and siblings lived in a debtor's jail. Today, many people still feel imprisoned by debt as interest builds up and spirals out of control. Debt even finds its way into the Lord's Prayer. The line that we translate, "Forgive us our trespasses," could equally be rendered, "Write off our debts." That's what we pray for, a clean balance sheet, with our past mistakes, sins, poor judgments and bad luck wiped out, and a chance for a fresh start.
Now here's the sport with Erica Barker.
Hull KR are on their way to Wembley after beating Warrington in the Challenge Cup semi-final at 26-18. Having watched Leeds book their place at Wembley the night before, Rovers travel to Headingley looking to follow in their footsteps. They now have a chance to add to their only previous victory when they beat City rivals Hull 10-5 in 1980. It'll take place on the 29th of August with tickets in high demand. Olympic gold medalist Luke Campbell beat fellow boxer Tommy Coyle in front of a home crowd to win the WBC lightweight title eliminator in an emotionally charged night at the KC Lightstream Stadium on Saturday. Luke, hailing from West Hull, stopped East Hull's Coyle in the 10th, with his opponent having faced 3 counts during the round. Coyle also hit the canvas in the second round as Campbell targeted the fighter with body shots. The Tigers rounded off their pre-season fixture programme with a 1-1 draw with Sheffield United at Bramall Lane on Sunday afternoon. Abel Hernandez scored a late equaliser to preserve Steve Bruce's side's unbeaten pre-season campaign. And with no injuries picked up at Bramall Lane, the manager says he's now looking forward to Sky Bet Championship opener against Huddersfield Town at the KC on Saturday. Elsewhere over the weekend, Grimsby Town beat Boston United 3-1 to wrap up their pre-season with their 9th victory. Town took the lead after just 7 minutes. And that's all from the sports.
That's it for tonight. Thank you to my guest, Luke Harlow. If you have a news story, then visit our Facebook or Twitter pages or email news@estuary.tv or pick up the phone and call Grimsby 01472 315 553. Goodbye.
Hello and welcome to Estuary TV's weather. Some sunny spells on Tuesday, but also scattered showers, some heavy, mainly over the hills in the west. Maximum temperature of 20 degrees. Winds easing with more on the way of dry weather on Wednesday.